Follow me here. The attack that is happening in the DC area right now is phase 2 of the attack on the black middle class. We knew that them getting rid of DEI was a direct attack on black women. I think articles have come out that said that 300,000 black women have lost their job, and the unemployment rate is, I believe, at the same level it was during COVID. Growing up in the DMV area, you knew everybody was like, yo, get you a government job, get you a government job. You set for life, get you a government job. So that was a narrative that was already put out there in the black community. Getting rid of those federal jobs was a direct hit to the black middle class, especially in the DMV area. Now, we have federal agencies in the streets of the DC area stopping and frisking black men that are minding their own business, not bothering nobody, and arresting them, and then putting their mugshots on the official X account for the White House. So we got rid of black women because we took away their jobs, right? Let's get rid of black men by randomly arresting them. Now, I don't know if all of them had priors or not, but I just can't imagine you walking on the street and you have to be nervous that somebody can snatch you up. And let's be real, a black man can be arrested for nothing and sit in jail for nothing until due justice happens. So all of this is just an attack on the black middle class, the blacks in the DMV area, which is one of the strongest black communities in this country, one of the richest black communities in this country. So if you're in the DMV right now, just, mind your P's, mind your Q's, stay out the way. But this is going to get ugly.
Hi guys, my name is Olivia and welcome back again to my channel. So this is not safe for the blacks. It's often painted as the capital of democracy, but for the black Americans, safety isn't guaranteed. Rising crime, overpolicing, and deep-rooted inequality make everybody's life more dangerous. Now listen, instead of investing in real-life solutions like affordable housing, education, and community programs, leaders keep pouring money into policing while ignoring the root cause of violence. Safety shouldn't depend on the color of your skin or your zip code. If we want a safer DC, we need justice, equity, and policies that actually protect black lives too. If you found this video very interesting and helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about this.
Oh my goodness. So I'm sure we're all aware of the troops going into DC and certain areas to protect the American people of these criminals and these thugs. Now, I will say this, that there is a theory going around that all the troops are going into black neighborhoods. They're going to black areas, They're going to what they're saying, all the governors are black in these areas or whatnot, these cities that they're going into. And, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
As President Trump is trying to make our city safer, Democrats think they know what he's exactly motivated by. You guessed it, racism.
I think it's very notable that each and every one of the cities called out by the president has a black mayor, and most of those cities are seeing historic lows in violent crime.
The president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men, and so of course he would speak in those petite and puerile terms.
Do you think there's race driving this?
I won't say that's like the totality of it, but I absolutely think it is. Yes, there are homicides in my city. Yes, there is crime, but we don't think the same prescription of help is necessary.
And one thing I will say is that, as the individual said on Fox News, that this is a feature, not a bug. That this happens to be, black people being the beneficiary of not voting for Donald Trump. That's what this happens to be.
So why is the president picking black cities?
The president isn't picking black cities. The president is trying to solve a problem. And it happens that black Americans who didn't give him a majority of their votes are going to be the beneficiaries.
Damn. I just want people to understand that, yeah, this sounds right. This is exactly what me and others were trying to warn people of. That who do you think they're talking about when they're talking about criminals? Like when Trump said, hey, we need to get the criminals out of the country who are citizens here.
I'd like to say, a little controversial, but I couldn't care less. We have a lot of bad criminals that came into this country, and they came in stupidly. It was an unforced error. It was an incompetent president that allowed it to happen. It was an auto pen maybe that allowed it to happen, and it did happen. But we also have a lot of bad people that have been here for a long time. People that whack people over the head with a baseball bat from behind when they're not looking and kill them. People that knife you when you're walking down the street. They're not new to our country. They're old to our country. Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here, too. You want to know the truth. So maybe that'll be the next job that we'll work on together.
I don't know who you think that this country, since we got here, has labeled as criminals, has labeled as thugs. What do you think we constantly hear about Chicago, right? Compton, Inglewood. What do you think those areas are? They are not even like dog whistling anymore.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. They are not owed that.
Wake up, nigga.
They're simply saying, yeah, y'all are the problem. And one thing you have to understand, even though that the crime is down, it doesn't matter. The issue is not about crime.
It's about sending a message.
I know there are people who want to say, oh, why are you making it racial? I'm not making it racial. I'm making an observation. Let me just be clear. I'll say it again. I'm not making it racial. I'm just making an observation. Because when it comes to crime, they have already associated black with criminality. They did this when we were slaves. So upon us getting free, what did you think was going to happen? This is what they have done in this country, and this is how they have, very much codified this in the eyes of the law. When you look at law enforcement, when you look at cops, when you look at who they show as a criminal, and criminality to many people in this country has a color. And to follow up on that, the issue has never been the crime. That's never been the issue. These fools commit crime all the time, okay? You got Enron, they bankrupted when it came to the housing market. They do crime all the time, all right? And they get bailed out, all right? They get a slap on the wrist. Hey, don't do that again. We see with Maxwell, right? Where you can traffic people, mess with kiddies. And she's been moved to a lower security area. So they get slap on the wrist. So the issue is not the crime. The issue in this country, based off of observation, just saying, has been the race. That's what that has been.
He's out of line, but he's right.
And when it comes to what's going on in D.C., yeah, that's what they're looking to do. And you have people talking about, they're treating black people with brutality and they're doing all that. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know what to tell you, because I was trying to let people know that's exactly what's going to happen. All this Project 2025, all these people that he's hiring, all these people around him, they have a very, very clear, crystal clear view of the crime. They don't care of whether or not, it's coming because you don't have a job. They don't care about that. The issue has never been about preventing crime, right? When it came to defund the police. Defund the police was not about attacking the police. Defund the police was actually about making the jobs and the lives of officers easier. That's what it was about, okay? In which officers actually supported that because they're upset that you're asking them to do everything. And they're not trained to do everything.
We're asking cops to do too much in this country. We are. We're just asking us to do too much. Every societal failure, we put it off on the cops to solve. Not enough mental health funding. Let the cop handle it. Not enough drug addiction funding. Let's give it to the cops. Here in Dallas, we got a loose dog problem. Let's have the cops chase loose dogs.
And in having said that, what they are now going to be doing, because there are a bunch of these, goofy, tangible Negroes, hashtag cut the check, hashtag tangibles, all these goofies that thought, it's just going to affect the illegals, Lucas. It's just going to affect the brown people, Lucas. You don't have to worry about it. If you're an American, you don't have to worry about it. And I'm like, at what point in time has that ever happened in this country? At what point in time has that ever happened in this country where they have done something and it has not negatively or adversely impacted black Americans? Can you tell me? I'm all ears, all right? So now what they're doing is they're looking towards the areas of criminality, and they don't care what caused it. They'll put cocaine, they'll put dope in the community, let the community blow up, and then arrest people. That's what they'll do. And then when you ask him, well, how did the cocaine get in there? That's not the point. The point is you chose to use the cocaine. That's why you're getting locked up. Damn. The point is you chose to use the drugs that we planted there. That's why you're getting locked up. Damn. And it's amazing how naive so many black people were. That they were going to be above the fray. That I'm an American just like my white brother and I'm not going to be attacked. And it's just like, what? The way that some of these goofies were talking, they were acting like they were white themselves and like, oh, we built the country and we foundational to the country. And now you getting a wake-up call.
Wake up, nigga.
That's what's happening. Now you getting a wake-up call. And I know she washed the greens in the bathtub. I know she's not really black. She's Indian. I know. Well, here, this is what you voted for. I don't want to hear not one of these goofies complain about this because this is what you were warned about and this is what you're getting. So anyone who gets abused, anyone who gets brutalized, okay, one thing you have to understand, it's not considered brutality because that's in the eyes of the law. And as we saw with the last dude, right, who got his window slammed and smacked across the face, yeah, those officers aren't getting charged. They didn't see that as brutality, okay? So you have to understand where y'all at. Because it seems like many of the vocal, all right, the vocal minority seem to be acting a little bit uppity. They seem to be acting like they think they something that no one in the country agrees with, that no one in the country acknowledges, and that like, bruh, do you know where you are? This isn't your land. This is hostile territory that you're residing in. So I think this is a great wake-up call.
He's out of line, but he's right.
I anticipated this from the jump because they've been very clear about, hey, there are too many black and brown people here.
Then Washington, D.C. must be swept clean. I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested that you just need to, you're just going to have to crack down. You're going to have to do the job, and you're going to have to get the crime out of Washington.
And because of too many black and brown people, that is coming at a negative impact of white Americans. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just letting you know this is where their mindset is. And they're looking to change things. They're looking to make America great again. But for Americans. And guess who they believe are Americans? Not your black butt. Not my black butt. So all these goofies, I'm black America. I'm a foundation. They don't view you as that. They're looking to make the country for the dominant society. And they want to remain dominant. And that's what they're going to be doing. So they're going to try to get you out of there. And if they can't get you out of there, they're going to incarcerate you. Damn. This has been their MO, for a while now. The only difference is now they have someone in the Oval Office who's unashamed to say it. Who's unashamed to take the steps that they need to do to curb, the crime. And if you don't believe that crime is synonymous with black people in this country, how it's been portrayed, joke's on you. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, Looks, we are foundational, okay? We are foundational and we are American. That's what you have to understand. We are crucial to this country, all right? And we're going to prove it. Or if you can't believe, who you going to prove it to? A group of people who don't even care? A group of people who don't even want you here? Who didn't even want you to exist in the first place? I don't even understand what y'all are talking about right now. You're just babbling at this point. You're just mindless, senseless babble. Anyways, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me Thursday through Saturday, Disagreement Day. Call in and we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you think about this and subscribe. And all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
Just tapping in first thing in the morning to say that what is happening in D.C. is not just a result of Trump's fascism, but it is also a result of the Democratic Party's capitulation. The D.C. Council just passed a budget in order to protect themselves and their seats of power from the wrath of the Trump administration. What was in this budget? They cut the child tax credit, zeroed it out, okay? They are kicking 27,000 people off of their health care. They have no vouchers for unhoused individuals. And while all that is happening, they are making a deal that is worth $2.2 billion with the Washington Commanders in order to bring the stadium back. Now, Muriel Bowser, our Democratic mayor that is over this democratically led city, also stripped out protections for workers within this budget, and the DC Council approved it. And also, she attempted to strip out sanctuary city status through the budget. That is not a budget item, by the way. This all happened after Sister decided to preemptively tear up Black Lives Matter Plaza without any real threat at all. So I said all that to say, when you hear people simply describing what is happening in DC, the takeover in DC, as something that is purely at the feet of the Trump administration, please know that they are running cover for the Democratic City Council. They are running cover for Muriel Bowser, who was not a deer in the fucking headlights at this time, but an active participant in the fascism that is taking over our city. Because when it all comes down to it, they are in a big club, and you are not in it.
On August 11, 2025, President Trump, the chump, invoked the D.C. Home Rule Act to federalize the Metropolitan Police Department and deploy approximately 800 National Guard troops, along with federal agents, citing a crime emergency, despite data showing crime in the capital is at a 30-year low. Because this is a fascist regime. Republican governors from West Virginia and South Carolina and Ohio then pledged another 750 Guard troops, bringing the total to around 1,500 National Guard members in D.C. right now, because this is a fascist regime. Reports indicate over 300 arrests have been made since early August, including 53 firearms seized. Guess there goes the Second Amendment. This is not about violent crime. This is about clearing the homeless encampments out of Washington, D.C., because there is no humanity left in the government, because this is a fascist regime. This attack on the homeless often disproportionately affects Black individuals. They use words like bedlam, slums, ghettos, and other rhetoric to condemn and dehumanize these people that find themselves homeless, making it now a crime to be homeless. This is what it looks like when a society has no humanity, when you are literally criminalizing the most vulnerable population in your community. Local leaders, including D.C. Mayor Bowser, condemned the escalation as authoritarian, arguing it violates the spirit of the Home Rule Act and disrupted community trust, because this is a fascist regime. Now let's move on to Texas. Texas redistricting battle and California's response to said gerrymandering. Starting in June 2025, under pressure from Trump the Chump's administration, Texas Republicans initiated a mid-decade redistricting maneuver to redraw congressional boundaries. Why? For the 2026 midterms, of course, because remember how y'all always be talking about how your votes don't matter? Yeah, then why are they a part of this major strategy to destroy us all? If they are able to redistrict these boundaries for the midterms, they will net 5 additional GOP seats, which will give this fascist regime more power. Texas Democrats responded by fleeing the state. Some of them came here to Chicago, leaving the chamber without a quorum to delay the vote for this gerrymandering move. The Texas House issued arrest warrants for the absent lawmakers, even though they had no grounds to do so. Though these are largely symbolic and unenforceable acts of cowardice by the Texas legislation, they did it anyway, because that's what Trump the Chump wanted them to do. And they don't work for you. They don't work for we, the people. The government now works for Trump the Chump, because this is a fascist regime. Critics argue that the proposed map would dilute Black and Latino voting power. But I thought we didn't have any voting power. And they say that because of this, their proposed map would effectively undermine equal representation if imposed on Black and brown citizens. I guess your vote does matter, doesn't it? And your district. In reaction, California Governor Gavin Newsom unveiled a bold defensive plan to push a special statewide ballot measure dubbed Election Rigging Response Act. He ain't scared. In order to temporarily override the state's Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission and empower lawmakers to enact new congressional maps, potentially adding 5 Democrat-friendly seats to take the place of the 5 Texas is trying to steal from the people. Newsom has framed this as fight fire with fire, defense of democratic fairness, warning that unchecked partisan power could jeopardize future elections, aka the 2026 midterms. However, opponents and reform groups like Common Cause argue that any partisan override of the commission risks democratic legitimacy and undermines public trust. They are wrong, of course, about all of this, because Trump the chump is the only one trying to destroy the democracy, or what's left of it. And at least Gavin Newsom, though very problematic for me, at least he's trying to do something right now. Because Trump the chump unsecretly wants to be a dictator, which is why his hero is Hitler. Authoritarianism is a system of government or leadership style where power is concentrated in the hands of one leader or small group, and the people have little to no role in decision making. Sound familiar? If it sounds like Trump the Trump's administration and his minions in Congress, then that would be because you are paying attention. I love you, Black man. I love you, Black woman. Knowledge is power. Power to the people. This is your BRC News Report, brought to you by the Black Revolutionary Collective.
To all my brothers and sisters in D.C., the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment are not going to just be amendments on paper. These are going to be your legal shield. And with Trump's goons and National Guard and ICE squad out there just thinking that they're going to be making easy arrests, Black men are going to have to come together and make this extremely hard for them. So you're going to have to know these amendments. The 4th Amendment, which protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. Cops just can't search you, your car, or your home without probable cause or warrant. So if cops try to search you or any of your property, simply say, "I do not consent to any searches," and leave it alone. Don't fight, don't argue, just plant that seed for the record. That forces them to either back down or risk breaking the law. Just because they have power doesn't mean they have legal authority. By voicing that, you set yourself up for protection later in court. The 5th Amendment, which is the right to remain silent. This is a big one. You're not required to explain yourself, argue with them, or give them more ammo. Simply tell them, "I'm invoking my right to remain silent," and stop talking. Anything you say can be used and twisted into evidence. Staying silent protects you from self-incrimination, especially with this crazy crowd. And it forces them to build a case against you instead of tricking you into theirs. The 6th Amendment, I don't care what they say, you have a right to counsel. If they arrest you, you have a right to a lawyer, period. Simply tell them, "I want to speak to an attorney," and don't answer any questions until one is presented. Even if you can't afford one, the government must provide a public defender. And once you invoke this right, questioning must stop. Now, these rights don't mean that cops are going to suddenly play fair, but they create a legal record that can turn the tables later. By standing on your rights, you're protecting your future, your votes, and your freedom. And when brothers move with the same discipline, refusing illegal searches, staying silent, and demanding lawyers, it forces the system to either respect the law or expose itself as unconstitutional. The real power is in unity. If every Black man in D.C. knew these rights and applied them the same way, the mass raids that Trump ordered would not be a clean sweep. They become a legal battlefield the administration can't win without breaking the Constitution in broad daylight.
I don't know if you saw the video about what's happening in DC and how the police basically raided a Black neighborhood, but Black people are under attack as usual. Okay. Black people need white allyship in person. Okay. All this rah-rah on the internet, we can't stand what's happening, da 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 da. Okay. Prove it. Okay. If you see something happening that's wrong, you should speak up about it. Black lives have always been on the line from the dawn of time. And I'm sick of talking about it, but I will never stop talking about it because we're tired of always being the ones that's doing the work, always being the ones that's on the front lines, protesting, trying to fight for our own rights. If y'all feel the way that we do, if you really care about us, do something. That's it. I mean, we can only protect ourselves to a degree. And Black people, stand down, okay? Stand down. Try not, and I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible when I say this. Don't give them a reason, because you being Black is already reason enough in their eyes. Don't give them another reason to do anything to you. I don't even know if that's the answer, but it's just a recommendation. Y'all Black boys, y'all stay safe. That's it. I'm not out here to try to fearmonger. I'm just very over everything that is happening. I've been over it. But we have, Black people have to be vigilant, and we have to protect ourselves. We have to be aware, and we have to be mindful of our surroundings. That's it.
You know what, white people, we need you as our allies. We don't need nobody. Nobody needs anybody. Everybody needs to be doing what they're supposed to do to make sure that their neighborhoods, that their grass is cut, that there's no crime in there. And when you see something, it's not about, hey, speak up about it and use your platform for it, because I don't see y'all using y'all platform to go and chase down and convict the criminals. You know what we say? We say no snitching in the community. Hey, don't tell on little Nuck. Let him do what he want to do. You raise them. We don't advocate for strong families and to not break up families, but make sure when you see something, say something. Y'all so against the police. Y'all so against the right thing. Listen, there's so many people, and I'm going to talk about this on the Millionaire Morning Show. There is so many people that are on the wrong side of history here, guys. There's a lot of people that are on the wrong side of history, and it is going to show when they get older. And I am not concerned. That's why I don't concern myself with always trying to do the thing that is popular. I am going to do the thing that is right. And I believe that is more of us that is right than we try to give ourselves credit for. But now we sitting here talking about, oh my God, we're victims. If you live in Washington, D.C., and you see them going and arresting people, they're not arresting people that's not doing anything that they not supposed. Like, they are arresting the most vile people. And now the children can walk to school, because when I go to DC, and I've been to DC multiple different times, both to visit the White House, both to be as a tourist, and also to do plenty of meetups and to just have fun inside of the city. When you go around a block and you see tent cities that is literally blocks away from the White House, it should be alarming. As a visitor, it should be alarming. When you go into these parks and you have all of these federal agencies, and you basically have the capital of America, and it is drug infested, and there is crime that is rampant. You know, I had a conversation on After Hours last night, and I said, when something happens to a police officer, they use the full force, if it's just one, the full force of the police to make sure that they go and solve for this crime. I say that if one person gets hurt, if one person dies, because right after Trump said, you know what, we need to deploy the police in order to make sure, and we need to federally deploy all of our resources to make sure that our streets are safe. If one person dies that we could have prevented, because we shouldn't have this crime in our cities and corruption, we need to deploy the full force of people that are already receiving our tax dollars in the first place.